Hey guys, it's Frank Klesitz with Vyral Marketing. I'm interviewing David Rosen. He's in Manhattan right now, sells very expensive real estate in a very difficult market, Manhattan. All right. And he is publishing simple educational web videos. I think you're on your iPad right now. Is that correct?
iPhone
You look pretty good for an iPhone. Great.
technology.
Yeah, it's great. He's on his iPhone and he's sending these videos out to his database and his contacts, and it's bringing him a lot of business. Real quick, just to get people up to speed, David, how long have you been selling real estate?
Started in the business in 2005. I was in Phoenix. I moved back to the market I'm in now, my hometown, end of 2011. 2012 to 2015, worked for someone else. 2016, went on my own. 17, 18, 19, been recognized by the Wall Street Journal as amongst the top teams in New York City and New York State, as well as the highest level of sales for my company, Douglas Elliman Real Estate, the Pinnacle Award.
That is incredible. I mean, cutthroat competition in New York. What's your typical sales price?
Uh, in this year, our average is about 1.5.
Yeah. All right. It goes a lot higher than that. I've been in some meetings where they're throwing around, let's do a discount of 5 million and adjust the price by $5 million on some of these condos there, you know? So, okay. So what I titled this interview today is interesting because at Vyral Marketing, we're seeing more and more real estate professionals spending a whole afternoon, if not day, of their emotional intellectual investment running around town with a video camera, trying to be the mayor of the city. And there's some validity to that. If you're at the level of your business where you can afford that, let alone probably from a video production level, because someone has to hold the camera and know how to use it, and the editing takes a lot more time, and you probably need a microphone and other technicals to do it well, let alone the research to actually do a good show, if that's what we call it, and to know what you're going to talk about. Then you have the editing and the promotion to get that done, which is a lot more complicated and time consuming and thus expensive, requires more capital than what we teach here at Vyral. At Vyral Marketing, we're all about simple Q&A videos shot on your phone or webcam, just like David's doing, consistently out to your database, to answering commonly asked questions about real estate. And Dave, you've been selling real estate for a long time, and you go to many different coaching companies and what they practice and they preach. Why don't you take me back to your decision where you wanted to become a little more famous around town as the mayor? And let's talk about why you decided to do it. I think there's a lot of validity in the reason why, but you ran into some challenges of sustaining that, and we want to get into that and what you're doing now and how Vyral Marketing and publishing videos is making you successful, keeping it a little more simple and less expensive, relatively speaking. So take me back to when you decided to be the mayor of New York.
Well, I'm still working on becoming the mayor of New York, but as far as being the unofficial real estate mayor of New York, I must say that, I'm proud of where I'm at the moment and looking forward to growing and have a plan to do so. And we have already created, to your point, lots of the content we will be releasing. But if I rewind it, when I first moved back to New York, I wanted to have some sort of drip email system to stay in touch with the leads that I would get that were, what we call B or C leads, people who aren't ready to transact, but, might one day. So I developed a newsletter. I developed a sub-brand for the newsletter. At the time, I was on someone else's team. So, I mean, it's really a lot of sub-brands and sub-brands. It's like, Searchlight, a Fox studio presents, this director under this smaller thing. And so I was publishing something called Applesauce, published by David Rosen, who worked for Josh Rubin at Douglas Elliman. And, it was—
Is the reference cool. The Big Apple?
The Big
Yeah,
Apple,
okay.
what goes going on in the Big Apple. And then I would talk about a very inconsistent smorgasbord of things, such where I ate that week, where I, what movie I saw, or, what play I did, or, the New York City Marathon, or just whatever's in the news, and it was an inconsistent offering of just whatever was seemingly might be compelling to people, so that they wouldn't unsubscribe, so they'd stay, keeping me in their inbox and hopefully think about me if they had real estate needs. but it took a lot of energy. And when I reverse engineered what I closed and where they came from and all of that, and when I saw where the technology was going, as I refined and refined and refined these things more and more, what seemed to make most sense, and of course, meeting with people like you, seeing what people were doing that was working and what wasn't working, the four words that just permeate my brain are stay in your lane. And, I'm just not a great restaurant critic. I'm not a great theater critic. It doesn't mean I don't know anything about those things. I do, but it's not my job. I mean, there are specialists in that stuff, and I'm a specialist in something else. Why should I hide from that? Why don't I go deeper into that? That's what people are interested. That's what I offer, So that's what I pushed. That's what I transformed into.
How much more money and time did it take to go down that path?
Less money, less time. Oh, big picture. I was using another third-party vendor to do my emails at the time, which I hate to say it, Frank, were more expensive. Vyral,
by the way, costs $550 a month. And if you get your mortgage person, they can pay half of that, and I have the documentation for that. The whole Vyral program should cost you, maybe if you get your mortgage person involved, about $275 a month.
Well, I should talk to someone about that. But I'm paying for it now. But yeah,
Excuse
exactly. That's pretty affordable. And, so I was paying a little bit more for getting less. And really the difference maker for what you guys offer, I mean, I don't know if I get special treatment, but the video production is almost free, basically. I mean,
yeah,
through your and that
100%.
part is where people are wasting, whole commission checks in whatever market they're in post-production, and nothing good is happening as a result of those extras. No one is saying nice intro. They're looking at you. That's the whole point.
Yeah, so you're keeping it simple. You're just recording the videos on your webcam. Did you fly out to Omaha?
So I've done 3 iterations of filming at this point. Twice I flew to Omaha and really had a great experience. What I had done was I put together a list of 50 pain points, brought a few outfits, and went through each one, or little vignettes that I could film as standalone 3-minute videos. And then I was able to do it for another 50. So the first couple of years, I just had blocks of evergreen material. And then the third time, I kind of, wanted to step it up. So I engaged with a film studio here in New York City, and created Inside the Broker Studio, which I'm utilizing with Vyral now, while allowing me to do my monthly market updates. And these market updates, between what I'm spending to boost them, not a fortune, by the way, and everything else, I mean, compared to mail marketing and just compared to my ROI, it's the best thing I do. I get, on every level of being, a real estate team leader, it positions me, where I want to be, which is the market expert of my industry. And whereas I'm not the mayor of New York, whereas I don't know who's starring in the newest play or even what the newest play is, I do know every listing out there. And, that's what I want people to know, that I know, what things are selling for today.
And you, by the way, if you're watching this and you're a client, it's free. You can come to our office in Omaha, Nebraska, right in the middle of the country. So we had a big New York guy coming out to Omaha, Nebraska.
I had a great time. We had a speakeasy I went to. This is Art Deco architecture. I went to the zoo. And the Vyral team is very friendly. And
we didn't charge you any extra other than maybe a little bit of a couple $100 for where we booked the space. But we just throw that in for our clients if you want to come out and shoot some videos. So there's pros and cons either way. You can make that decision. And then you also do
round trip ticket plus the hotel. I got to say, if you consider that I did it twice, I got 100 videos out of it, and and the editing on the other end is, sort of a cost that you have no idea what it could be or should be. And it's also sort of, the more options you have, the more you dilly-dally, the more you stall, I mean, you fly to somewhere to shoot 50 videos, you know, in 4 hours, you have 50 videos. End of story.
Yeah.
You hire someone in your hometown, you might end up 3 hours later with half a video.
Yeah, there's a psychological factor of flying in, moving away, and getting it done.
Yeah.
Now, you do something else in your emails, if I remember. Don't you write like a personal message at the top?
I've created a few different key elements of my emails. I have a personal signature, which we noticed was an effective thing that we tested. So, you know, it's my actual ink signature. I lead with an anecdote. You know, it's personal, it's engaging. Then you know, the call to action, if you will, is the click on this video to see it. If they do, they get a cookie. It's a very tasty cookie. They get to eat it all the time.
So if they click it, they go to your website, and then you can follow them around everywhere.
And we can retarget them, which we do. Yep. And I don't know really how to do that. You guys do it for me. And then so even if what I know that from looking at my data science, that not everyone's who's opening it is clicking through, but the fact that they're opening, you know, hopefully I'm retargeting them, and you know, and then I can, you know, continue the engagement ongoing. So that's part of what we do.
So you've been, you know, how do you know all this works? You know, why don't you just stop doing all of this and skip all these videos and just
everyone
pound
is in
phones?
a different market. But let me give an anecdote, and this is just one of many. And I could give this anecdote many times. I've sold well over $10 million worth of real estate to people for whom this type of interaction was ideal and part of it. Right now, we're dealing with Christine and Matt. They own a loft. I first met them 4 years ago, friend of a friend. They decided to put it on the market themselves. They put it on for $2.5 million. Didn't sell. It was a discount brokerage firm. Came back. I sent them an annual market update. They're on my emails. They're not engaging. They're simply not engaging, and they've already gone basically FISBO in the past at a discount firm. It's not like a warm lead. It's not the type of person you're like, oh, I'm gonna call those people up that I met with 4 years ago. But no. They're on the emails. They get retargeted, and they were one of a half dozen people who called me around the new year, you know, with an expanding family wanting to upsize. Fast forward 45 days, they purchased something for $3.5 million. I didn't show them anything. They found the home themselves and inserted me as their agent. I didn't even have to sit down with them personally to refresh the relationship. And they hired me to sell their $2 million place.
That is interesting. Somebody that owns a $2 million home and wants to buy a $3.5 million home. FISBOs?
Basically, discount brokerage. They tried it. Yep.
Okay, got it. Yeah, discount brokerage. Like, I'll do the work and pay you a little bit if you bring somebody.
And then last year we had a similar situation, similar cold lead, met a guy at an open house years before. And, you know, these are just two stories. I mean, there's literally all my stories have this branding behind it. But, you know, this family ended up owning all these townhouses. I mean, you wouldn't know this guy from anyone on the train. He did not look affluent, you know, Prada glasses, but like, you know, just nothing shiny. They spent $10 million on condos with me, you know, just cold lead, barely knew him, kept sending him emails every week or every 2 weeks, saw he opened the emails, you know, called, was my charming self, couldn't really get anywhere, nurtured it for years, and then finally it hit. But I positioned myself as a market expert during that time, and did it in a way that had a PR feel to it as opposed to a, you know, cheesy feel to it.
How are you able to make the adjustment when you're running your own business and every dollar counts, where you have a very variable revenue stream and taking on a fixed cost? You know, everybody wants that certain ROI. If I spend X number of dollars, I get X number of return. And you seem to delink that. Can you tell me about maybe the process of how you've, I don't know if the word is matured, but you're not looking at like exactly what the specific ROI of Vyral is, because it's hard to do.
I can just tell you that if you want to make video a main part of your brand, which I did before we met, to be frank. And then once we met, I realized that this was the best platform. It doesn't take long to realize that if someone's going to help you do the post-production and it's a flat rate, that's probably the best case scenario. And then also the ad placements themselves are tricky. So having you guys help me with that. But just in terms of, I mean, the question really is, if you do nothing, what will happen? Nothing. You have to do something. This is the most cost-effective thing you can do. There's nothing better than this.
Sounds good. You want to make it more cost effective?
How can I do that?
We got to get a lender on board, because
That's
these
right.
buyers are probably dropping some serious cash on these loans.
That's true.
Now, the immediate thing that goes up is RESPA, right?
But we can
that's
also use lawyers, which are like
lawyers
title.
too in New York. Yep.
Yeah.
But you should co-advertise with a lender, or they have proportional representation where you give them a shout out in your videos, and we edit a mortgage minute into your videos and include them on your blog and ask them to contribute half. And now you've effectively doubled your return on investment because you cut your ad cost in half. And the lender, before they pay you, is going to want to know, okay, is this legal? Well, I got paperwork for you that you could use to lend on the in-house counsel of the lender to show you that we have the proper third-party valuation done by a third-party valuation company called M-Link Solutions that I paid 15 G's for, that it's all there.
I'm in, man, because, we do our monthly market updates, and whereas I can't necessarily quote rates, if I had
Bring the lender in
one
for
of
the
the
mortgage
lenders
minute.
I had from Citizens Bank, who's got a partnership with Douglas Elliman Real Estate brokerage, or, we work with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, a friend at HSBC. I've got friends everywhere.
And put a rule in place for all your buyers that before I work with you, 100% of my buyers must be pre-qualified through my lender or a lender.
Sure.
Here's 3 to choose from.
Yes,
right?
and that's what we do.
But you got to get them pre-qualified. So there's definitely a relationship there, and there's ways to do it where you're co-advertising, not paying money for a referral.
Yeah.
And it's valued by a third party where it's a legitimate, true amount. It's not inflated, which a lot of times they do, like charge them $50,000 a month for $1,000 a month of office space. That doesn't work.
Right. No, that's not non-issue.
So good. Now, you also mentioned that you're doing some remarketing to the people that come to your website, right, David?
I'm under the impression that we do. I certainly see my videos all the time.
Good. So likely that we are. Let me give you a little tip. Does that sound good? To maybe get some more results from that?
Yeah.
And for those of you watching, pay attention to this. There's a blog post I wrote called "The #1 Facebook Ad for Seller Lead Generation." Google it, or it's on the blog, but just the #1 Facebook post for seller lead generation. And I give you a script that is on point. It basically says, hey, looking to sell your home. Here's how I can help you. Here's my features. Here's my benefits. Here's what people say. Here's a reason to respond now. And make that video, and I give you an example. And let's run that. So yes, we can boost your educational videos, but let's also remarket your website traffic with a direct offer, like a straight up commercial. And the key, David, is we optimize it for Facebook messages, where it says, message me if you want to sell your house. And lo and behold, people will just click the message button and conversations will pop up of people interested in selling their home with you.
Let's do it.
Just talking to you.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So Google that. Let's put that together. And that's essentially at Vyral Marketing. When we go through the build process, we talk about writing a really good why hire me video. Like, why in the world would anyone in their right mind hire you? And you should probably have an answer for that. And guess what? We do. There's a script. You turn that answer into a 1-2 minute video and you remarket your website traffic with that. And since it's very clear, the copy is, do you need to sell your, in your case, probably property in Manhattan? You need to sell your property? I'll sell it. Message me. And then it has a video explaining how you're going to do it.
Yeah, I think you know, that type of marketing times multiple opportunities is proven to be really effective, because I just think that so many people, whether they're brokers or in some other type of business, just really discount the emotional connection that people are looking for in their service providers. I mean, you know, it's like that ad campaign that's out now, just okay is not okay, right? You know, like the surgeon, well, I know, Frank, you don't have TV, news, telephone, etc. But just take my word for it.
Okay.
There's a TV ad campaign.
The inside joke is I haven't had a cell phone for 5 years, and that's true. I got rid of it 5 years ago. That's another interview where you're going to interview me, David.
All right. But like there's a surgeon, he's like, are you good? No, I'm okay. Just okay is not okay. And, you know, when people see you, especially they see you not just once or twice, but 6 or 7 times, I mean, they say, look, this guy is not only real, but he's approachable. You know, he's not going to try to close me. And also he's not going to bore me and waste my time by being misinformed or disengaged or, you know, afflicted. And, you know, sometimes you call brokers and their tone of voice basically says, I hate you, don't talk to me, literally. And sometimes you are that broker because it's 6 p.m. and you just had 3 conversations in a row that were tough. But like when you're putting video content out there, you know, people get to create the vision of you for themselves. That's the one that you want them to see, the best you. And you're always that person to them, even if you're not always that person, you know, where you're sitting in your shoes at that moment.
How long have you been a client, David?
I think 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years.
It's called 2.5.
Yeah.
You've spent about $16,500 with it. That's $550 a month, which is our fee, which should be half that, right?
But I also
marketing.
upped my engagement package at one point by upping my my videos to weekly.
Oh, so you pay a little more for us to get out weekly?
I actually stepped it back, not because it wasn't working, but because I wasn't able to call all the opens. You had 2,000 opens every cycle, and we're not really touching them. Well, what's the point? You know.
Well, let's factor in your travel costs.
Sure.
You're probably in about $20,000 since you started. If you could
I can't tell you the direct ROI, but I can tell you that
just anecdotally, like, is it worth it?
My total spend, including labor costs, each of the years I've been in business for the last 3 years has been, you know, between 1 and 200 grand. That includes a salary of which is half that, and marketing costs, which are the other half of that. Events, this stuff, boosting, postcards. It's the one thing that is the most meaningful to me. It's the one thing I'm most proud of. I love being creative on it. And over the last 3 years, we've done about $4 million in gross commissions. So, you know, part of that went to Uncle Sam, part of it went to the people keeping the lights on here, but some of it went to me. And
that's good.
And I can promise you, it was a multitude higher than 20 grand.
That's good, man.
Like a lot more.
Where can someone go to see all your stuff?
TheDavidRosen.com has been organized by your team. So they segmented it into playlists. They can see my real estate tips, my newest Inside the Broker Studio series, which has its own style, and also my market updates, which I publish monthly.
You have a cough. David, what advice do you have for somebody that is just looking to get started with us, or they've signed up for us to do this and they're not seeing any result?
I really appreciate that question. So here's a few bits of advice. Advice bit number 1. Like one time I was at a trade show and I'm sitting there and there's all these people around and I'm literally heckling everyone who comes by. Come see our thing. Come take a flyer, take a flyer, take a flyer. You know, the person who I am today, 10 years later, isn't that aggressive in that way because it's not effective. And I think the energy that people come with on camera, it's like, hi, it's me, David Rosen, and now we're going to talk about that. And the more that I was,
Tell me now.
yeah, the more that I was able to really embrace my more nuanced
Authenticity.
self. Yeah, because I mean, if you watch Brad Pitt on camera, he's never rah rah rah. He's or any actor. I mean, they're all so cool, and the camera picks it up, and you don't have to push it. People are looking for your authenticity. They're looking for your vulnerability. They're looking for moments of connection, and chances are, I'm a pretty statuesque guy. Frank, you're a big guy. We don't need to pretend to be big personalities. I mean, we already are. So, I mean, if you're really demure, maybe you have to turn it up a notch. But most of us in this industry don't need to turn it on. We need to turn it back a lot of the time. And I think that's where people mess up on camera, and they have anxiety because they're trying too hard, and then they make bad
someone they're not. Yep.
Yeah,
that's very insightful.
Hard. It takes practice.
Yeah, the authenticity you communicate this way of who you are should be true, where you're not portraying to the world someone different than you are. It's great. What else?
So if you think the person you're putting out there is the real you, it's something that my girlfriend said to me. She said, you're funny. Why do you always so serious? And so it's hard to oh, well, I guess I'll don't try to be so serious and just be a little looser. And so each time is you try again, you find something new. So try to be loose. Ask people what they think about your videos. Get feedback. Be coachable. That's important. Frank is a genius. You are, man. You know this stuff. Get advice from people like you. Use your scripts. Call your opens. That's where the money is. We just got a listing from, an open on an email that was cold otherwise. That's a big one. And last but not least, it's a pillar of your business. It's not your whole business. So, if you just started and this is one of your pillars, this is a way to enhance your COI engagement. But you have to have a COI, and you have to also have elements of your, offerings that are otherwise interesting. I mean, we have to add value. If you're not adding value in this market, you're going to be obsolete. It's not enough to just be cutting edge with your technology. You have to be cutting edge with your value proposition. And I think that comes from empathizing with your clients and figuring out what, makes you special when they engage with you. And then you have a roadmap to showcase that to other people who may not know you as well or may not know you at all, so that they go from being strangers to being friends who refer you business.
That's great. David, thank you, man. You're doing a great job. I'm proud to know you, dude. And
Proud
I think
to know
I
you.
might be in New York later this year for the radio and television expert event. So we got to get together. And if you guys have any referrals and you have someone moving to Manhattan, send them to David, and you'll make sure you have a good agent that'll actually get you paid, right?
100%. We provide 2.5% referral checks all day long.
All day long.
Something like that.
Yeah.
No. And I want to tell you, Frank, that I definitely showcased my arrangement with your company at the mastermind breakout I led at the Elite Retreat for the Tom Ferry Coach organization 2 weeks ago. Hope you got a call or two. Told them all to drop my name.
Thank you.
You can't underestimate, the details of this stuff. And having a partner like you guys who specializes in it and also streamlines it and makes sure I get my stuff out, it's invaluable. So thank you.
David, thank you so much.